You walk into a brightly lit store as the temperature drops in November. You find a jacket that looks heavy, modern, and rugged. You check the price tag, $150. You try it on, it fits perfectly, and you walk to the register feeling like you just outsmarted the winter apparel market. You did not outsmart anyone. You just walked directly into a mathematical trap designed by corporate accountants who know exactly how long that jacket will last. The price tag on outerwear is the greatest illusion in the modern fashion industry. It conditions you to look at the initial transaction instead of the total cost of ownership. A jacket is not a t-shirt. It is not an accessory. Historically and physically, a jacket is a piece of utilitarian armor designed to protect the human body from hostile elements. But over the last 20 years, the fast fashion industry has successfully downgraded outerwear from a durable asset to a disposable consumable. They achieved this by quietly replacing structural engineering with chemical shortcuts. Today, we are going to run the brutal mathematics of outerwear depreciation. We are going to look at the physical materials used in a $150 jacket and compare them directly to the engineering inside a $600 jacket. By the end of this breakdown, you will understand that buying cheap winter gear is a financial drain you cannot afford, and the luxury price tag on a heritage coat is actually the biggest bargain in menswear. Before we calculate the money, you have to understand the physics of failure. The outerwear industry hides its margins in the materials you cannot immediately verify in the fitting room. The most notorious offender is faux leather, commonly marketed as vegan leather, pleather, or polyurethane. If you buy a $150 leather-style jacket from a fast fashion retailer, you're not buying a hide, you're buying a petroleum byproduct. Polyurethane is a synthetic polymer layered over a fabric backing. It looks like leather, and for the first few months, it even acts like leather. But polyurethane is chemically unstable when exposed to the reality of the human body. The exact chemical process is called hydrolysis. When the polyurethane polymer chains interact with the moisture in the ambient air, combined with the heat and sweat evaporating from your skin, the material begins to break down at a molecular level. It is not wearing out. It is literally decomposing. Within 12 to 18 months of regular use, the surface begins to blister. Soon after, it starts flaking off in terrible, sticky black patches, revealing the white woven fabric underneath. Once hydrolysis begins, it cannot be stopped, reversed, or repaired. The jacket looks diseased. It goes straight into a landfill. You paid $150 to rent a plastic shell for a year and a half, but the deception is not limited to fake leather. The most vulnerable point of any jacket, regardless of the material, is the hardware. The zipper is the central structural artery of outerwear. If the zipper fails, the jacket ceases to function. In the mid-20th century, zippers were milled from solid brass. Today, if you buy a $150 jacket from a mall brand, you are almost certainly getting a nylon coil zipper or a cheap die-cast zinc alloy zipper. These components cost the factory mere pennies to produce. The teeth on a cheap nylon zipper will eventually misalign after a few hundred pulls. The zinc alloy pull tabs are brittle and will snap in half the moment you pull them at an awkward angle with cold, numb fingers. When the zipper derails or breaks on a cheap jacket, you face an impossible financial decision. Taking a lined winter coat to a professional tailor to have the old zipper unpicked, the seams opened, a new heavy-duty zipper inserted, and the lining stitched back together will cost you anywhere from $60 to $80 in labor alone. If the jacket only cost you $150 brand new, an $80 repair is mathematically illogical. The brand knows this. They engineer the hardware to fail precisely because they know you will not fix it. You will throw the jacket away and buy a new one. A 10-cent piece of broken plastic effectively totals a $150 garment. The final invisible shortcut is the insulation. A winter coat is supposed to trap dead air to keep you warm. Heritage brands historically used densely woven wool or high-loft goose down to achieve this. Fast fashion brands use polyester batting. Polyester batting is essentially a sheet of spun plastic fibers stuffed between the inner lining and the outer shell. In the store, it feels thick and substantial. But polyester fibers do not have the natural resilience or memory of animal fibers. When you wear the jacket in heavy rain, or worse, when you run it through a standard washing machine, the synthetic fibers clump together. The structural integrity of the insulation collapses into dense, heavy knots. This creates massive empty spaces inside the lining of the jacket. You are left with a coat that looks puffy but has zero thermal resistance in the shoulders and chest. The wind cuts right through it. You are wearing the physical illusion of warmth. Now let us calculate the financial reality of the $150 fast fashion tier. Brands like Zara, H&M, and generic mall retailers dominate this space. You buy their winter jacket for $150. Due to polyurethane hydrolysis, a derailed nylon zipper, or collapsed polyester insulation, the garment becomes unwearable or visually embarrassing halfway through its second winter. Let us be incredibly generous and give the jacket a lifespan of 2 full years. $150 every 2 years. Over a single decade, you will buy 5 jackets. 5 multiplied by $150 is $750. You have spent $750 out of pocket, but that is only the hard financial cost. You also spent 10 winters dealing with jammed zippers. You spent 10 winters shivering because your polyester fill clumped. You spent 10 winters watching your jacket slowly flake apart at the collar. Your cost per year is $75. Every year, you pay a $75 subscription fee to look mediocre and feel cold. The trap gets worse when you try to upgrade without understanding materials. You move from fast fashion to a department store. You look at brands like Kenneth Cole, Calvin Klein, or Guess. You find a leather jacket. The tag proudly says genuine leather. The retail price is $300, but it is conveniently marked down to $150 for a holiday sale. You buy it, assuming you just acquired real durability. You did not. In the leather grading hierarchy, genuine leather is an industry term for the absolute bottom layer of the hide. It is the split corium layer that remains after the premium top grain has been sliced off for high-end goods. By itself, this split layer has no structural integrity and looks like fuzzy suede. To make it look like a smooth jacket, the factory sprays it with a heavy coating of, you guessed it, polyurethane, and artificially stamps a fake skin texture into it. Because the underlying split leather is weak and rigid, it begins to crack along the stress points of your elbows and shoulders within 2 or 3 years. The polyurethane paint chips away. The jacket looks destroyed. You spent $200 on the illusion of a luxury upgrade. Over a decade, replacing this tier of jacket every 3 years will still cost you roughly $700. The cost per year remains brutally high. Now, we cross the line. We leave the marketing brands behind and move into the realm of real engineering. We are going to look at the $600 benchmark. To the average consumer, spending $600 on a single jacket sounds financially irresponsible. But when you understand the mathematics of longevity, it is the only logical choice. Consider a heritage brand like Filson. Founded in 1897 in Seattle to outfit prospectors heading into the brutal conditions of the Klondike Gold Rush. Their iconic Mackinac Cruiser jacket retails for roughly $500 to $600. It is constructed from 100% virgin Mackinac wool, sourced from hardy sheep and woven incredibly dense. Wool is a miracle of natural engineering. It can absorb up to 30% of its own weight in water without feeling wet, and it continues to insulate even when soaked. It does not clump. It does not experience hydrolysis. It simply exists, deflecting wind and water year after year. If you prefer a different aesthetic, look at Barbour. Founded in 1894 in South Shields, England, outfitting sailors and fishermen working in the worst weather the North Sea could generate. Their classic Beaufort or Bedal jackets retail for around $400 to $450. They are made from densely woven Egyptian cotton treated with a proprietary silk oil wax. The wax acts as an impenetrable barrier against wind and rain. When the wax eventually wears thin, after a few years of heavy use, the jacket is not dead. You do not throw it away. You simply melt a $20 tin of Barbour wax and reproof the cotton yourself, or send it back to the factory. the jacket is instantly restored to factory-level waterproofing. The garment is designed to be maintained, not discarded. And what about the hardware on these heritage jackets? They do not use nylon coils. They do not use die-cast zinc. A brand like Schott NYC, which invented the modern leather motorcycle jacket in 1913 and heavily influenced naval pea coats, uses massive, heavy-duty brass zippers. Often, these are YKK Excella zippers or vintage-style Talon hardware. YKK is a Japanese company founded in 1934 that operates with such terrifying precision that they smelt their own brass and weave their own zipper tape to ensure quality control. A heavy brass zipper on a $600 jacket does not derail. The teeth do not snap off in the cold. It requires zero maintenance and will likely outlive the person wearing the jacket. This is where your money is actually going. You are not paying for an advertising campaign. You are paying for raw brass, virgin wool, full-grain cowhide, and heavy waxed cotton. Let us run the final mathematics. You buy a $600 heritage jacket from Filson, Schott, or Barber. Because the materials are naturally stable and the hardware is virtually indestructible under normal conditions, the jacket easily survives 20 years of continuous seasonal use. Many of these jackets are literally passed down to the next generation, but for the sake of conservative math, we will cap the lifespan at exactly 20 years. $600 divided by 20 years equals $30. Your cost per year is exactly $30. Compare this directly to the fast fashion cycle. The $150 jacket costs you $75 per year and guarantees that you will look terrible for half of its lifespan. The $600 jacket costs you $30 per year and looks better, fits better, and performs flawlessly every single time you put it on. Over those 20 years, the cheap jacket strategy drains $1,500 from your bank account. The expensive jacket strategy costs you $600. The cheap option is literally 2.5 times more expensive than the luxury option. This is the open secret of the global apparel industry. Being cheap is a luxury only the rich can afford, because only the rich can afford to buy the same poorly made item 5 times in a row. The corporate fast fashion machine relies entirely on your inability to calculate cost per year. They design their entire business model around the moment you look at a $600 tag and say, "I cannot afford that." So you buy the $150 option, completely unaware that you just committed to spending $500 over the next 2 decades. You are financing the gross profit margins of a conglomerate that uses petroleum-based fake leather and plastic zippers to slowly drain your wealth. Look at your own closet. Go to the coat rack right now. Pull out your winter jackets, check the tags, check the zippers. Does the hardware feel like cold, heavy metal, or does it feel like hollow plastic? Look at the stress points around the collar and the cuffs. Is the material cracking? Is it flaking? If you are staring at a crumbling piece of polyurethane with a jammed zipper, you are looking at an invoice that you will have to pay again next winter. The mathematics of menswear are absolute. You either buy a jacket that is engineered to deflect the elements, or you buy a jacket that is engineered to expire. After today, the choice is entirely yours. You know the chemistry, you know the hardware, you have the formula. If you own a jacket that has survived more than 10 winters without failing, drop the brand name and the specific model in the comments below. Help the next man escape the replacement cycle and buy something that actually lasts. If you missed our breakdown on the true cost of luxury suits and how thermoplastic glue is destroying $1,000 garments, it is linked below. Subscribe if you want the unvarnished engineering behind your wardrobe. We follow the money, so you stop wasting yours.